high out there. So, sure, maybe the sound's not too bad right now, but I have a huge scarf on that I'm not quite sure how to wear properly, but I like the colors, so it's just kind of like a tire around my neck. It's one of those like infinity scarves. It's just one big circle that you kind of wind around your head a couple of times. I don't know. Anyway, it's not the point of this video. Let's see. The point is, number one, I'm on my second day of it was going to be a 7-day water fast, but looks like now it's going to be 5 days. I don't know, we'll see how I feel on the 5th day. I wanted to end it on Yule. Sort of a rebirth, regeneration, get all that autophagy going, new cells, all that fun stuff. And yeah, so that's where I am with that. Yesterday and this morning I had pretty bad headaches, but I think I'm pretty sure that's because the food I was eating before wasn't good for me. Like sodium. I eat a ton of salt, but I do eat a ton of sugar. Or I was eating a ton of sugar. Way too much. So I'm glad that I'm cleaning myself out. Drinking lots of water. But yeah, headaches. And like a little bit of hunger, yeah. But we have these, my housemate bought these little strips that you can pee on to check your ketones, and I'm finally in ketosis, so that's good. So there's that. Yeah, I'm feeling a little bit better this morning. My head was pounding, and also the booster shot, guys, my arm is killing. So anyway, that was kind of keeping me up last night. Didn't get great sleep, whatever. Point is that with the headaches and the hunger, I'm just noticing it. When it gets really painful, it's hard not to identify with it, right? It's like, that does hurt. You know, it's like occasionally I get like a pounding or a throbbing headaches. I got one behind my like left eye last night. It was hard. But you know, as Michael Singer says, you know, if you try and do something about that, the feelings or whatever, you know, you're just adding crap on top of crap. I like his analogy of, sorry, one of my buttons is undone. I like his analogy he talks about with like throwing a rock into a pond. You know what I mean? So like an emotion is a rock you throw into the pond of your energy field, and it makes these ripples. And you can do two things, right? You can wait for the ripples to just kind of chill out on their own, or you can jump in and try to smooth the water down with your hands. And the latter option never works, but it's what people tend to do. So I'm working on the former, just watching the ripples on the pond. I'm gonna go and walk around the pond a couple of times just to remind myself. So there's that. And the other thing is, like, I totally thought I was over the ex thing, but this time of year is like, it's hard. I mean, it's funny because we really only ever spent, despite being together for like 3.5 years, we only spent one Christmas really together, the first Christmas. But because he went back to Egypt for the other two, his dad was really ill, one of them, and another one was just like he had to go back and visit. But we had Christmas season together and all these fun things, all these great memories, and you know, it just leaves me thinking about him a lot and how much, like, all the great times we had together. Well, let's turn that off. Okay. All the great times we had together, as well as like what we could be doing together now, which is a silly thing to think about because that's not what's happening and it's not what's going to happen. But, you know, that's that wishful thinking, and I, again, am working on just watching that. Like, oh, thanks, brain. Let's pay attention to something else. But, you know, the more he's on my mind, the more I'm like, I just keep thinking, like, this can't be real. Like, he can't possibly be doing this incredibly stupid thing. Right? I'm sorry, but sorry to be culturally insensitive. But I mean, I know that in all likelihood, he is going to get engaged in the next couple of months if he's not already. Because again, they can't get to know each other unless they're engaged over there. It's so ridiculous. So, you know, he's going to get engaged while he's over there right now. His mom's not doing well, and her thing has been, you've got to get married before I die. You've got to get married before I die. So, I mean, he broke up with me so that she wouldn't die or disown him and never speak to him again and then die. So I got to imagine he's going to go along with it. And when I talked to him the last few times before he left, I mentioned, like, oh, you know, you're probably going to get engaged. And he just didn't. I mean, usually he would deny it if he wasn't. And he just kind of didn't exactly say, like, agree, but was admitting it as a possibility, certainly. And I mean, come on, if he's over there for like 2 or 3 months with this lady who's sorry, you know what? I'm sorry. I don't like her. I don't like her. Can't say that I like her at all. I've never met her. So it's hard to say that, but from the stories he tells me, she's just a vindictive person who doesn't actually care about his happiness. I mean, only if it agrees with her happiness does she care about his happiness. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, they see that as love, but I see that as control, and like, I mean, it's just completely sublimating his will to hers. And she holds it. All I can say is he's going to make a choice of partner, the person he's going to be with for the rest of his life. He's in his early 30s, could be 70 years. The woman who he's doing it for is going to die in the next few. It's just, I mean, I just hope he finds the right person, like a really amazing person. But back to what I've been thinking about and the things I'm trying to not pay attention to, the thoughts I'm trying to not pay attention to. You know, it just seems really dumb to me. And also, you know, like, the hurt I feel from it certainly stems from a place of need. I mean, certainly from a place of love as well. But my desire for him to be like, what the hell am I doing? And realize he's being an idiot and come back to me and be like, I'm so stupid. That's not going to happen. And that desire is from my own need. So that's not love, right? Because the love part of me says, like, he's got to do whatever is best for him, because any other way would be a bad result. He wouldn't be able to live with himself, and he's going to do what he's going to do, and it doesn't have to do with me. And I can only wish that he somehow finds the most magical creature on the planet that can make him happy, and who he can really love and enjoy taking care of, and who's not going to take advantage of his incredibly good nature, loving, caring nature. We'll see. I really pray for that. But so there's the two differences, right? There's the part of me that is angry and scornful and needy, that wants what I want, because I don't know that it actually necessarily has to do with my self-esteem, whereas most things do, but I think it has to do with fairness. No, not fairness. Just I love him, and I want that life. Not even necessarily that life, honestly. There's a life that I want that I don't know that he would even fit into. But there's him and all the goodness that comes along with him and all the goodness that comes along with our relationship or came along with our relationship. And that's what I want. And that's a selfish thing. That comes from selfishness and fear. It's also fear because I'm afraid I'm not going to find something that good in the future. So those are where those things are coming from. And I certainly do not want a relationship based on selfishness and fear, right? So I will focus on neither of them because both of them are kind of hurting my heart. But just pray for the best for him and focus on what I need to do, which is my business, right? So this morning there was every Saturday morning, there's the 52 Weeks to Wealth principle webinar thing that my mentor does with the community that I belong to. And thanks, Ellen. Yeah, time to move on. That's the whole point of these videos, is to talk about how one does that and to show other people that there are emotions that you have that are normal and natural and not to beat up on yourself about them and how you can handle them in a healthier way. So yes, that's what I'm doing. Okay. So yeah, a slight bit of irritation there. I apologize for that. These things are in my ears and they keep falling out. I don't know. I know they've got microphones in them and there goes the music. So I don't even know if I hope you can hear me. So the point being, I'm focusing on my business, and I was listening to the webinar this morning. That was really good, as it always is. And they mentioned the book 12-Week Year, which is a book that I have worked on following a number of times, and I plan on doing that again. The idea being that you put all your goals instead of into 12 months, put it into 12 weeks and make your plans from there. And it's a lot about productivity and simplification of processes, etc., etc. So, you set 1 to 3 goals, and my 3 goals are: number 1, in the next 3 months, getting 35 clients. Number 2, moving to London. Hi, Paul. I want to come back. I'm going to. And number 3, getting myself into an audition-ready state, which to me means losing the weight and being healthy, and getting my instrument tuned up again, meaning yoga and strength and flexibility and agility, and also my voice. Gotta work on my vocal stuff. Oh, it's gonna start raining. And then, so audition ready, moving to London, and 35 clients. And then within that, there's a whole bunch of tasks that I gotta do, main milestones and then tasks to hit those milestones. And then, you plan them for each week or whatever. You have your tasks for the week and you check them off, and then you get your stuff done. So that's the plan. It's just a matter of keeping to the plan, right? And that's where I struggle sometimes. I struggle. That's where my struggle is in general, keeping to the plan. And I'm not quite sure if I'm not keeping to it because, part of it is fear, right? Definitely. And what else is it? I think it's mostly fear. Because I'm incapable of doing each and every one of the things that I have to do. I just circle around it okay, I'm gonna go do it. I'm gonna do it. I gotta do some laundry. Like, that's sort of the way it goes. And it's hard when you're working for yourself, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have a boss that you're accountable to. And that's a mindset shift that I need to make. Not need, because we say need, it means it's always in the future. I am making that mindset shift. And that's what I'm working on this week. I'm going for my walk right now. I put my back out last weekend, and it's still pretty twingy, but I need to get out and walk, and move around, because otherwise, like, my muscles are gonna atrophy or something. So I'm gonna go for a leisurely walk around the pond a couple of times, and then I'm gonna go home, write out my 12-week plan, and commence task doing. So yeah, that's the plan. That's how I'm handling what I'm handling. Rather than focusing on here, I'm focusing on something else, but allowing those other things to be, because that's, if we try and stop them, it's just adds, it's us jumping into the pond to try and smooth down the ripples, right? So just allowing the thoughts and emotions that I'm having that cause discomfort just to be what they are, live with the discomfort, but focus on other things. So that is that. Relax and release when the emotions come up, and focus on other things. So that is my deal for the day. I am grateful that I have the community that I have the business that I have to focus on, and something to get me out of the situation that I'm in. I know that I have the ability to do those things, which I have to do, and I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for all the universe has put in my life to make this possible, including where I'm living, even though I have difficulties where I am right now, and including the breakup, because I wouldn't be able to do this stuff without that. So I would be focusing on other things. So even though there are things that have happened that I don't like personally, the only reason I see them as wrong is because I don't like them. Other than that, they're totally fine. So my not liking them really shouldn't enter into it. One of the interesting things Michael Singer was saying in the talk I was listening to yesterday, starting to kind of, it's my umbrella, starting to kind of, it's not exactly hail, little pieces of, I guess it is kind of hail, but it's tiny little pieces of hail. One of the things he was saying was, damn it, I lost my train of thought. It had to do, so if we spend our time we want to spend our time preferring one object of consciousness to parade in front of us versus another, i.e. whether it's a physical object, a thought, or an emotion. If we prefer one object of consciousness over the other, we're going to spend all our time trying to create a situation in which we only experience those objects of consciousness. But that's a really silly thing to do, because that's not how life is. Life is going to be life. We can't control 99.9% of what goes on. So the best thing to do is learn to be okay with whatever happens. So if we spend our time trying to make our lives match what we prefer our consciousness to perceive, then we're never going to be able to rest in the consciousness itself. So I am also very grateful for Michael Singer and all his talks and wisdom and stuff like that, because that certainly has changed my life. And so even though the things that have happened that I don't like or whatever, I can be grateful for them, because they are making my life, they're necessary steps to make my life what it needs to be. And this ear thing is popping out now too. So that's about it. I'm going to just say that you can't be grateful for those things that you don't like, even though you don't like them, because they are contributing to a greater good. and other people's greater good too, right? One of the things I pray about in the mornings and at night is I say that I trust that the universe is leading me, and I trust it is safe and for my good and the good of others to follow. And I know that in following what the universe has put before me, and not concerning myself with my preferences, that I'm not only going to benefit myself, I'm going to benefit others, like through this video thing that I do, and my company and my other video series that I do. So I am grateful for all the universe puts in my path, whether or not I like it. And I just want to remind you out there that you too can always remember, you can choose, even if stuff is falling out of your ears, you can choose to have a grateful day.